like growth, and it's also just really fun because you're getting to try something new.
I think that it's really like satisfying when if you've been like preparing a debate or something and you've done all this research and stuff and you've like thought to yourself like, ah, you know, this was a lot of work, you know, and then you go and you compete and then you're finished. It just feels really satisfying. And then you start to get like super into what you're doing because then you go and sit down. I did public forum last year and I sat down with my partner every time and I was like, well, now we did more research and we got more stuff to that we could debate on, and it was just a lot of fun to go there and start debating, and then you just feel really satisfied once you're done with it, and then you get inspired and excited to like learn more and add more for the next time that you debate.
I really like debate because it helped me get over my nerves because I had really bad nerves like talking in front of people and just debating, and it helped me open up. So I really liked it. And I mean, I didn't do the best at it, but honestly, I learned a lot and I met a lot of new people who I never knew I'd meet. So it's a pretty eye-opening experience. And speech is also pretty cool too. If you don't really like, going up against somebody, if you're not necessarily like debating, speech is also pretty cool because there's like a lot of different things you can do within that. Like I did, I think it was radio speaking. So you have like, I think it was like around 5 minutes to prepare a radio speech, and that one was probably one of my favorite events.
Yeah, so that's the cool thing about debate is that there are so many things that you can do that if you do it once and you absolutely hate it, you can scrap it and then try something new. It's going to be a little different this year. Saruthi brought up the fact that you go to these tournaments and you're like totally overwhelmed by the amount of people that are there. Well, we're not going to tournaments because it's all virtual. So you're kind of going to be in your bedroom by yourself. But we will be, so the way that it's going to work is if you are debating somebody, you will be on a Zoom call, you and that person, and then the judge will be in the room. And then it's going to be just like this. The person that is debating and has the floor is going to talk, and then you're timed. The judge will stop you when your time is up, and then the other person will get to talk, and there's a very structured format. So it's not like, here's a topic, now go. You get the topics ahead of time. You get to prepare your arguments before, and you have to be prepared for both sides. So when you do debate at a tournament, you'll have 3 or 4 rounds, and you will debate 2 times on the positive side and 2 times on the negative side. And then those 4 debate rounds will determine if you get to go into quarterfinals, which is like what we call breaking. And we'll talk about what the topics are here in a minute. But basically what happens is the National Speech and Debate Association creates topics for you, and they release them 1 to 2 months in advance, depending on what kind of debate you're doing. So they literally just released the debate topics on October 1st for the debates that you guys will be doing at the end of October and into November. And they do that so that everybody has the same amount of time to prepare. So, and I'll go through all of the topics and stuff here in a few minutes. So that's debate. Events is also...
Sanjana's here.
What?
Sanjana's here.
Hi, Sanjana.
Hi. Sorry.
She's back. Sanjana, do you want to tell us why you love speech and debate?
Why I love speech and debate? Sure. Yeah. So when I started off doing speech and debate, I was a freshman and I had no clue what like any of this was. So I just went in, and the events that I did my freshman year was Lincoln Douglas debate. So that's basically where you have a 30-minute debate with another person, and you have a topic, and you prepare for that beforehand, so you know the topic beforehand. And so I just went in not knowing anything, and it was just amazing. It was just an amazing experience because I didn't realize how like I thought speech and debate would be super scary and I would be like super bad at it. But like once you get up there, it just felt so natural, and you get to meet so many different people and talk to them. And it's just a great experience to improve your skills and just meet a lot of people and have a lot of fun with your teammates.
Okay, so I just talked to you about debate. And so the way that tournaments are structured is you have the speech portion, which is what I'm going to talk about here in a second, and then you have the debate portion. You can do both, or you can do one or the other, whichever you prefer. Most people will say, if you're going to be there doing debate, you might as well try an event because you never know what you're going to find and what you're going to love. And I think Sanjana, one of her friends, told her that at a tournament, was like, just try it. If you don't like it, you don't ever have to do it again. But you just never know. So there's a lot of different events that you can get involved in. There are some acting events where you have humorous interpretation and dramatic interpretation. And this is when you take some kind of a script. So it could be a play, it could be a book, it could be any published piece that you then memorize and perform in front of a judge. It can be no longer than 10 minutes. It's between 8 and 10 minutes. And you just get to throw out your characters and you get to be funny. And it's just this prepared, basically, like play in a very short amount of time. So that's humorous interpretation. So it's funny. And then if you do dramatic interpretation, it's obviously more dramatic and it's a more serious issue or topic. Then we have oratory. So if you have something that you are passionate about. So Saruthi, what was your topic last year? I can't remember specifically what it was.
I did rape culture.
So Saruthi did an oratory on rape culture. So she went through and she did a bunch of research and she had a comment about rape culture, and she got to write this speech and she got to be professional about it, and she got to get her voice out there in front of all these people. And that's essentially what oratory is. You get to pick something that you want to speak about, and it doesn't have to be that serious. It can be something fun and lighthearted, and it can be something as serious as rape culture. It can be anything that you're interested in. So you write
I saw one and it was literally about rubber ducks. It was
that's
amazing,
right. What
but
was
it was about
about?
rubber ducks. It was just about rubber ducks.
So you guys, you can do so many things with it. And if that sounds like something you're interested in, you and I can talk one-on-one about what you think you would want to write about, what you would want to talk about. The only downfall with that is that it does have to be memorized. The cool thing, though, is that these speech events this year are all pre-recorded. You're not doing speech events live unless you make it to semifinals and finals. So, Mahadi, this goes out to you. One of the other events is called Extemp. It's called extemporaneous speaking. And normally at a tournament, you would go in 30 minutes before your round. You would select 3 pieces of paper from an envelope, and there are 3 questions. If you do foreign extemporaneous speaking, you're going to do a speech on something about foreign policy. It might have something to do with relations with China or relations with North Korea. There's tons of stuff it could be about. Or if you choose domestic, it's going to be about issues at home. And I can guarantee you that there will be questions about the election. That won't be the only thing that they're talking about. They might be looking at, different things that politicians are doing, or, all the different issues that are coming out about the election. They may talk about things like that. So normally you would get 30 minutes and you would pick one of the 3 questions and you would write a speech. You get 30 minutes to write a 7-minute speech. Then you get to walk into the room with a note card and you get to give your speech. So however you want to talk about it is totally up to you. And then you give that speech and you walk out. And so, but the cool thing about it this year is that it's not going to be 30 minutes. So they will email me the questions at 3:00 on Friday. And then you have until 5:00 to write your speech and record it and get it uploaded. So I know Mahadi was interested in doing that, and we never really got that off the ground. This would be a good year to do it, if that sounds at all interesting. So that's Extemp. Then we have informative speaking, which is similar to oratory, but with informative speaking, you can have a visual aid. So you're picking a topic that you want to inform people about. You have some kind of a visual aid and you're talking about it. Again, it can be lighthearted and fun all the way up to serious. You get to pick whatever topic you want. There are tons of topic generators on the internet that you can look for, but your better speeches are going to be ones that you feel passionate about and things that you really want to talk about. And the big thing that you'll get from anybody that's ever been in speech and debate is that this is one of those places where you get to have an outlet and you get to care about those things. And you are around a bunch of other people that also care. So when you're thinking about topics, you know, pick things that you really want to talk about. Pick things that are important to you and are relevant to you, because your judges are going to enjoy that a lot more than something silly that you just found off of a random generator. And then there's prose and poetry and poi. So prose and poetry, again, you're picking some kind of a theme. Saruthi, what was your theme for poi?
So poi was my first event, and I tried doing rape culture with that. And then we decided that it would be better as an oratory.
Yes. Sanjana, what was your topic?
My prose topic was about like a young boy during like immigration. It was about immigration.
Okay, so she picked immigration. So she went and she found prose pieces, so fiction pieces, and she put this together and she got to read it from a black binder. Like literally, I don't have one here, but it's just this tiny little black binder. So you get to have your script in front of you. You create like a 30-second intro that kind of explains the piece that you're talking about and explains how it relates to your theme. But then you get to read that piece in a dramatic way to kind of get your message across. Poetry is the exact same thing, except in poetry, you're picking poetry pieces and you're going to have more than one piece because most of the time poetry is short. Now, if you find a poem that's super long and you want to do that, you can do that too. But typically with poetry, you're going to pick more than one piece. Poi is the program of oral interpretation. Poi is the same thing as poetry and prose, except now you get to incorporate anything that's published. So it could be fiction, it could be nonfiction, it could be a piece of poetry, it could be a newspaper article that you read or an internet article, it could be a blog post, and you get to pick multiple pieces and put it together. So that one is a lot more intricate, and you really have to find pieces that kind of work well together and kind of flow well. But once you find that balance, it can be really powerful. So those are the big chunks of information that I kind of want to go over, because that's going to be the stuff that's offered at our first two tournaments. So before I open the floor for questions, I want to show you a couple of things. This is my first year doing this, so you have to bear with me as I figure out YouTube. But I created a YouTube channel for myself for school. Can you see it on your screen? Oh, here it comes. Do you see it now?
Yes.
So there's a bunch of stuff on here, but the biggest thing I want you to take away is the playlists. I have one for speech and debate somewhere. Here it is. Okay. So when you go into this playlist, I have examples of each type of event that will be offered at the October and November tournaments. So except for radio speaking is not being offered because that one is too hard to do virtually. So if you're interested in something specifically, watch the videos, because the videos are going to show you national competitors that competed either in 2018 or 2019. So they're very topical and they're your age. And so these people that are competing are high school kids. When you watch it, you're going to think there's no way that I could ever be that good. And I'm here to tell you that you can with practice. So take some time, get to know the YouTube channel. And I'll be adding things throughout the year as I find good resources for you. but this is a good place to start. The other thing I want to talk about is the Google Classroom. Okay, so you should be able to see the Google Classroom now, yeah? Okay, so I will periodically post some things to the stream. I try to get into the habit of when I post it to the stream, I also send you an email because you guys get so many different things in Google Classroom and Canvas that it's hard to keep them straight. But I will post anything that is of importance to you guys here on the classroom. Big piece for you to do is to go to classwork, and you'll see that I've got lots of different resources posted for you. So you can see like what a ballot would look like, what the judge would use to score you. And what ends up happening is if you are doing, let's say you're going to do pros, in that round, there will be 7 competitors. Normally, you would go into the room with those 7 people and you would each compete, and then you would stick around and watch everybody else compete. But the way that they're doing it this year is that you're actually recording your piece ahead of time, and the judges are watching it on their own time. So you're not actually going to get to watch anybody else, which means nobody's going to be sitting there watching you. Because you get to record it and submit it, you can record it 27 times if you want. So if you do a take and you hate it, you can come back, you can re-record it. The only rule with it this year is that it has to be one take. So you can't piece together and edit your video. It has to be done in one foul swoop. So anyway, so when you go onto the classroom, you're going to find all the different ways that you can, different resources. There's some videos here, but this should hopefully give you kind of a good idea of what we do. So let's talk a little bit about the tournaments. So normally I'm the only coach, and typically tournaments last a Friday evening and all day Saturday. They're very time consuming. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but I've got 2 kids of my own. So it's hard for me to be gone from my house more than a weekend a month. So in the past, we've done 1 tournament a month. Our season run, we are the longest running MSHSAA season of everything. We run longer than football. We run longer than baseball and basketball. We run from October to March, which means we can have tournaments from October all the way to March. So because we're going to be virtual, we have the opportunity to go to every single tournament this year. That doesn't mean you have to go to every tournament. If you want to go to one, fine. If you want to show up on Saturday and watch the live rounds of the eliminations, so the really good kids, and kind of get an idea of what's happening, you can do that as well. But you will have the ability to go to a tournament in October, a tournament in November, and then I think there's 3 or 4 others that will be coming up. So in the past, I've had some of my returning members ask if we can go to more tournaments. This year, you're going to go to every one that you want to go to because they're all going to be virtual. Okay, so I just threw a ton of information at you in 24 minutes. It's a lot to take in. I'm not asking you to make any decisions right now, but what I do want you to do is ask questions, because we've got returning people here that can answer those questions for you, and I can answer questions for you as well. So fire away. What do you got?
Hi. Where will the video's recording, right?
Yes.
Where will it be uploaded? I'm guessing Classroom.
Yeah, so I will put all the videos. The videos will go into YouTube. I'll put them on YouTube. Okay. And then I will post a link in Classroom, and then I will also email it to you every time we have a video or every time we have a meeting.
Okay.
And if you were mock trial and you missed the mock trial meeting, but you wanted to come to the mock trial meeting, I have that recorded, and I will be doing the same thing. I will add it to the mock trial Google Classroom, and I will email it to you as well.
I am not in the mock trial Google Classroom.
So we need to add you, is what you're saying.
Yes.
I don't think I'm in the mock trial one either.
Can you add me too?
Whoa, hang on. Let me go into it and I'll add you all at once.
Wait, is there a difference between the normal one and the mock trial one?
So mock trial is different than debate. Do you guys want me to talk a little bit about mock trial and what that is?
Yes.
Okay. So everything I just talked to you about is debate. So that's, you go to tournaments, you get to basically prepare by yourself. This is unless you do public forum, because we didn't talk about debate, did we? I need to talk about debate. Public forum is two person against two person, and you get to pick your partner. So your partner is somebody from our school, and you guys can work together. So like Amanda had a couple different partners last year, and Saruthi and Jaden worked really well together, and they did public forum. So you'll get the topics ahead of time, and you guys work together to debate. Lincoln Douglas is by yourself. So you'll get those topics ahead of time, but you have to create your arguments by yourself. They're about 32 minutes long, and they're very structured. And I'm going to encourage you to watch a video because you'll be able to see how they kind of play off each other. So that's all speech and debate. So that's its own thing. Then over here, we have mock trial. Mock trial is a team event. And I think the people that are in the room here with us that have done mock trial in the past would agree that it is definitely a team situation. We will get a case from the Mock Trial Association out of St. Louis County, and it's a real case. It's not a real case, but it's based off of a real case. And we then have to prepare as though we are the lawyers and the witnesses, and we have to perform it in front of a judge in St. Louis County. So one day we are the defense, and then another school is the plaintiff. And so we come in and we put this trial on while a judge and lawyers are actually judging us. And then the next time we flip-flop. And so then we're the plaintiff, and then we have a defense from another school that we are going against. So we're basically trying to show off that we know the legal jargon and we know how to use it. We know how to argue appropriately, how to use different rules of evidence. When you're in a trial, there are very specific rules that lawyers can and cannot do. So you learn all of those things. It's all about, if you're a lawyer, it's all about learning how to be a lawyer. If you're an actor and you like the theater side of things, then you can be a witness. And a witness ends up becoming one of the characters. So it might be somebody that was a witness to the crime, or somebody that, like a character witness to one of the other people in the case. There's a lot of different things that it can be. So you have the choice to either be a lawyer or be a witness. It's totally up to you. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, put your name in the chat and I'll make sure I add you to the Google Classroom for that, because those are two separate things. And you're more than welcome to be a part of both. But I like to keep them separate because not everybody wants to do both. Okay, so with that being said, throw out some questions about speech and debate for me so that I can answer your questions and any of our returning people can answer questions.
I had a question. So I know that, okay, for the meetings, when we do speech and debate tournaments or meetings, how will we know if we qualify for like higher levels? Do a lot of people like end up going to like state or anything like that, or? Hello?
So like when you go to a tournament, how will you know?
Yeah, when you compete, how will you know if you're going to events after that if you qualify?
Okay, that's a good question. So with events, so let's say that you do extemp or DI, HI, one of those, you'll do 2 rounds. And then after those 2 rounds, they will take your scores and they'll tally them up, and the top 14 competitors will then break into semifinals. They post it. So normally they would post a big poster at the tournament. I'm not exactly sure how they're going to tell us virtually. I'm imagining it's going to be some sort of an email system, or there may be a website that you go to that you can see if you've broken or not, but you'll know in advance. Like you'll know the night of if you broke the next morning. For debate, you'll debate for these okay, again, this is so weird because we've never done a virtual season, but for the October and November tournaments, you'll have 3 rounds of debate in the evening, and they will be live, and then they will take your scores. They'll determine who the top 8 debaters were in each category, and then those people will be notified that they'll be debating the next day. So when you go into debate in quarterfinals, which is what is the first round of eliminations are called, you and I would be debating, we end the debate, then the person comes in and says, okay, this person won 2 of the ballots. When you're doing elimination rounds, there's 3 judges. In a normal round, there's only 1, but because of elimination rounds, they want to make sure that you've got a good panel of people judging. So they'll say, this person won 2 ballots, this person won 1 ballot, this person wins, and they move on to semifinals. So you will be notified immediately. That was an easy one. Throw some more at me.
So for like the speeches and stuff, do you like research beforehand? Or like you said one where like you get 30 minutes to write the speech, like do you have time to research or do you just write them?
Okay, so with the extemp, which is the one where you get 30 minutes, in theory, you have been keeping up on news. So you can bring research with you, as much research with you as you want. So what you'll see happen at actual tournaments is people will walk in with tubs, like Rubbermaid tubs of articles that they have read and that they have categorized. So they may have a folder that's called United States economy. Then they might have one about United States election. They might have a Trump folder. They might have a Biden folder. They might have, the Green New Deal folder. So they'll have all these different articles that they've read, and they keep, like, they print it out, they put it in this file folder so that when they get a question, because they have no idea what questions they're going to get, they can pull that folder out and they can reference that information right then and there when they're writing the speech. The reason I say this is a good year for you to try it is because you essentially have 45 minutes to an hour to research your topic, write a quick speech, and then record it. So you can look stuff up and start like writing your speech, whereas normally you wouldn't be able to do that because you don't have internet access at tournaments. You have to use what you bring with you. Does that make sense? So this time around, that's where this is what?
You can't research like on the spot. You've got to bring your supplies.
You got to have it with you. Yeah. So if extemp is something you're interested in, and Mahadi and I kind of talked about it, we can definitely start an extemp file, and it would be one of those things that we do it as a team. And then anytime we go to a tournament, we bring the tub, and then anybody has access to it. So if there's 3 or 4 people that are doing extemp, you can all use the same stuff, and you're all going to have different questions. It'll be very rare that you guys would ever have the same question as somebody else on your team, just because of they have so many questions that they throw out there that the chances of you guys having the same one are really rare. Normally in an extemp speech, I would say reference 2 or 3 sources maximum. If you do more than that, it just becomes overwhelming. So literally when you're writing those speeches, you're going to say, according to Time from January 2020, done. And then you just give the source and you move on. So you're kind of at a benefit right now because since everything's going to be virtual, you've got your computer in front of you and you can do research and look things up really quickly. The other thing that we'll talk about is online databases, and I'm not going to do that tonight because we're not really going to get into it, but we have access to online databases at school. So like EBSCOhost and Facts on File, those are going to be the best places for you to get research because they are qualified sources with oodles and oodles and oodles of information. Literally, you go to it, you type in what you're looking for, you hit enter, it spits out a ton of resources, and then you can like go down and say, well, I only want stuff from 2020. So it'll only pull stuff from 2020. So you've got very few things to look at. So there's a lot of tips and tricks that I can give you that will help you kind of narrow down that research. Anything else?
Yeah,
So
one
this-
thing. Oh,
okay.
no, you go ahead.
Okay, real quick. So for this year, since everything is like pre-recorded, can we do more than one speech event or debate event?
You cannot do more than one debate event because it's live debates. I believe you can do 2 speech events. So if you want to try a couple different things, now would be a good time to do that. Just because you get to record it.
I got something. So I'm interested in the informative speech
Okay.
thing. And isn't that the one where you like write out your own script?
Yep.
So am I able to like come and talk to you and see how it is? Like, can I get your input on it? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So if you are in person, you are more than welcome to come see me anytime. Anytime, before school, after school. I don't typically stay after school just because nobody comes and sees me anymore, but I will totally stay after school if you want me to. If you are virtual, we'll just do kind of like a share thing where you share your document with me and then I will leave comments on it and you and I can go back and forth. Like that's what I would expect. Like as your coach, I would never just be like, okay, here, go have fun, figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to help you through that process. Now, I am not the person that is going to say, you have to do this, this, and this, because it's not my speech, it's your speech. I'll offer all the suggestions in the world, but if you don't like them, it's your speech. You know, you're going to do what's best for you. If you choose to do informative, just make sure that you understand you have to have some kind of a visual aid. I don't know how that's going to work with the virtual, because normally you would have like an actual like poster board or foam board or something that you take with you. I would imagine that for this, you're just going to share your screen. So it'll be a little bit easier. You may have to do some photoshopping if you want to put like a graph and then text underneath it or whatever, but we can work through that if you need help with that.
Okay.
Frankie?
Yeah.
So when school starts up to 5 days a week, can we start meeting on Wednesdays again?
Okay, that's a good question. So last year for AI, we met in my room on trial and debate. We can totally do that. What I'll do is give you a permanent pass that you can then show your AI teacher. And then if you want to come to my room during AI, you are more than welcome to do that.
So are we going to do after school meetings too, or just AI?
I think we're going to stick with virtual meetings only because everything else is going to be virtual. And I kind of want to get everybody like into the groove of the virtual thing.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that if you guys really want to get together and meet about something, or if you and your partner need to meet and talk, you are more than welcome to do that. And you can do that in my room. Anybody else? Okay, so here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I want you to take all of the stuff that I just talked about, and I'm going to post this video so that if you want to watch it again, you can. And I want you to think about what you want to do. Then I want you to send me an email, and I want you to talk to me and tell me what you're thinking about. You know, what do you think your topic's going to be? What questions do you have specifically about what you're working on? And then we can go from there. We have a tournament on October 23rd. So the way that tournaments typically work is I have to let them know 2 weeks in advance if we are going to participate, which means I'm going to say by October 14th, I'm going to have to let them know what I'm going to enter everybody in. So I don't expect you to be great. Now, I do expect you to try, and I expect you to ask me all the questions in the world because that's what I'm here for. But know that this is a learning experience, and the more you do it, the better you're going to get. So I think all of our former debaters kind of touched on it, but you do something, you realize it didn't work, and you go back and you try something different. Or you did something, you realized how great it was, and you do it again. So there's a lot of that in speech and debate. So I want you to think about what you want to try, what you're interested in, and then I want you to send me an email and tell me what you think that's going to look like or what you think you want to do. The only other thing that I didn't talk about was the debate topics. So let me show you what the debate topics are for this go round. So like I said, the National Speech and Debate Association is the organization that puts out our topics. And it's kind of an old website and it takes a while to load. So the cool thing about National Speech and Debate Association is that you earn points every time that you speak in public. So once you earn 25 points, you then become a member of the National Speech and Debate Association. It is a membership that you hold for the rest of your life. So I gained my entry when I was in high school and I still have it. And as a coach, I earn points based off of how you guys earn points. So several people in the room, it's kind of like being a thespian, if you guys are familiar with that. Except this is for speech and debate. So, should have done this. So I will keep track of all your points and then I will let you know when you have earned membership and then you pay a $25 membership fee and I send it in and you are a member. So the cool thing about it is that it looks really good on resumes if you're worried about your resume. But it's just a really cool bragging right. And I actually have my certificate framed in my room. It's on the ledge in the front of my room if you ever want to come by and see it. But for every so many points, you earn degrees and then you earn a new sticker on your certificate. So here are the topics for this season. So for Lincoln Douglas, the topic's going to be this one right here. The United States ought to provide a federal jobs guarantee. So for those of you that are thinking about Lincoln Douglas, this is one-on-one. You do not have a partner on this one. And I will probably have like an individual debate meeting where I talk to you specifically about writing a debate case for Lincoln Douglas, and then a specific meeting for writing a public forum case, because they're very different types of debate. But this will be your topic. The United States ought to provide a federal jobs guarantee. And notice that it's kind of vague, and they do that on purpose because they want you to be able to talk about a lot of different things. So that's the Lincoln Douglas topic. And then the public forum topic is this one right here. Resolve, the United States should adopt a declaratory nuclear policy of no first use. Oh, that's a mouthful. Now, this is going to be one that you're going to debate with somebody else, with a partner that you choose. And I think usually they pick things that are very topical. So even if you just did a quick little Google search, you'd probably start to get some stuff about it. But again, this is one of those things where I can show you how to use EBSCOhost and we can start pulling things from there. I'm also going to look into purchasing debate briefs, which will give you a little bit of help too. I didn't get them last year to my people that are returning. I didn't do briefs last year because it's kind of hard to find good ones versus squirrely ones, but I'm going to try to look a little bit harder this year and see if I can find some better ones. Okay, so those are your debate.
Are we gonna get cards this year? Like cards and briefs this year?
That's what I'm talking about. I'm trying to find like a good source, because the ones that they talk about at tournaments are just like so off the wall that they're not helpful. They're more aimed to confuse people than they are to really help. So I'm going to look and see if I can find like good sources, because the briefs are not cheap. I mean, we're talking like $200-$300. So if I'm going to pay for it, I want it to be good.
For the debates, do we like pick a side or how does that work?
No, so you actually have to write a case for both sides, and then you will debate both sides.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start over. I want you to think about what you think you want to do. Send me emails with questions. And then when you feel comfortable, I want you to tell me that I want you to tell me whether or not you're going to compete in October and November. You don't have to do both. You can do just October or just November. You can do both if you want. There will be other tournaments. I don't know when those are yet because I have not gotten invitations. We usually get them about 3 weeks out. So think about what you want to work on. Send me any questions. I'm here to help you however I can. And I think that's all I've got for you. Just stay in touch. And then I think so my plan was to have meetings on Monday, but my mock trial, we had to push our meetings a little bit later than I expected. So would Tuesday work for you guys? Tuesday, 7:00? Yeah. Okay. So let's say that every Tuesday.
I wouldn't be able to go on Tuesdays because I have basketball.
I
Ooh.
can't go either. I'm sorry.
No, what'd you say, Emma?
I can't go either. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, that's okay. Is there
I
a
can't make it either on Tuesdays.
What about Wednesday at 7?
I have band at 7.
No, Emma, band is almost over. We only have like one more thing left, so.
Oh, all right.
Wednesdays might be a little dicey for me because I have practices that like a music practice that day, but other than that, I don't know.
What about
7 o'clock
Thursday?
might be late enough that I wouldn't have an issue, but it just kind of depends on the day.
How about
Thursday
Thursday?
would not work for me.
What?
Should we have 2 meetings and then you could just join the one that you could join?
Well, the problem is I'm at home with my 2 kids, so I have to be careful of that too. I know, right? If I could just, like pass them off. What about Sunday afternoon? What?
Yeah, let's do that.
It's okay.
Would that
What
work?
time would it be on Sunday?
That would probably
That
work.
works.
I can do Sunday.
That works.
Who asked for a time?
Me.
What time doesn't work?
2 o'clock or
That's fine.
earlier. I just have to go to church, that's all.
Church is important. Okay.
I can't make it on most weekends.
Okay. So here's what we're going to do. Could we do... Okay. We're going to go with Sunday just because that's what most people are okay with. I'm going to say 3:30. I'm going to create... well, just assume Sunday at 3:30. And if something doesn't work out or if I can't be there, then we'll figure something out, but I'll make that a priority. And then I will record these meetings and post them for you because as we start having meetings, I'll kind of start talking more about the meat of what we're going to be doing. So the meat of like Lincoln Douglas, the meat of public forum, like what that kind of looks like. And then if you want to rewatch, you can. And then if you can't be there, it's not the end of the world. Just send me an email and we'll figure something out if you need to work on something or have questions. This is very much an individual kind of situation. So if you can't be at a meeting, it's not going to be the end of the world. But we are a team too, and I want you guys to have that, like we want to be together as well. So we'll go with Sunday at 3:30. And I think that's it. So are you guys good? Got your marching orders? Think about what you want to work on. Send me an email. We'll talk. And then when you finally have made your decision about which tournament or tournaments you want to go to, we will nail down what you're going to work on. Sound good? I'm so glad you all are here. I'm so happy to see so many new people. It makes me very happy. I'm so happy for my returning people too, but You know, we're trying to build a program here, so having a bunch of new people is amazing, and I'm super excited about it. Okay, well, have a good rest of the night, and I'm here, so send me an email if you need anything, and then I'll see you next week or Sunday, 3:30.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.